that, nigga? When I came to you for that business proposition about filming and shit.
Oh yeah.
Actually, that was over a year ago, nigga.
Well, damn, why you bringing up old shit?
Oh man, that shit crazy. What you been up to, man? You still doing the film thing?
I mean, yeah, seldom, but I mean, I'm just working right now, bro. I'm just grinding every day, bro.
Bruh, you know what you need to do?
What I need to do?
DoorDash, nigga.
Yeah, when I get my car back right, bro. I was Ubering for a minute, nigga. I've been Ubering for about a year and a half, bro.
You making some cheddar over there doing that?
I mean, yeah, for what it's worth. Yeah.
I just can't have too many people in my damn car, man. I don't see how you do that shit, man.
I mean, yeah, it gets annoying after a while, but when you fucking with the biddies for the, picking them drunk hoes up.
You got like 3 jobs right now, right?
I only got one right that's concrete, and then I just started working like part-time at Waffle House and shit like that.
You said it's fire? It's fire over there?
Wait, what?
You said you working at Waffle House and the shit is fire over there?
No. I'm saying like I just started at Waffle House.
Oh, facts.
Bro, you need to get back. You need to get in front of the camera, man. You got too big of a personality, bro. You gotta do that shit. Hey, you ever thought about like starting back rapping or doing something like that? Like,
everybody keep asking me about that shit, but man, I told y'all I'm not a rapper no more, bro. I mean,
bro,
I follow music. I would ghostwrite, and like right now, I want to get my shit together so I can DJ, bro. But as far as like being a mainstream rapper, like, nah, bro, it's not in my forte anymore.
Respect.
But man, how about like underground? Like, what made you lose the love for that art?
I never lost the love for the art. I lost the drive for like chasing that dream. I thought about it statistic wise. It wasn't really, what I felt like was gonna get me to the next level. And it's nothing. It's not really about the rapping thing. Like I said, I would ghostwrite. I would put bars together because I can still write and still know how to put words together. But it's just not. I don't have that drive for it anymore.
So what will get you to that next level now?
I mean, as far as like where I see myself,
yeah,
just hustling. I want, like I said, my hobby to be like DJing. I want to get back into, definitely controlling music or making music because I have a good ear. I know how to pick good songs and things. I mean, I want to throw parties. Like that's the type of shit that I see myself doing. And then getting back into basically filming, like we was talking, because I have a lot of ideas as far as short films and things like that. I feel like I'm a good writer. Hey, did the podcast start? Are we already in the shit?
Yeah. It started.
Oh. Well, dang.
You over there going on and on, yo.
I mean, obviously, Rick, that means you haven't seen our podcast because we shoot the shit first and then we get into the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just chatting right now. That's all. So basically, you just want to be an entrepreneur type. Having multiple sources of income.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like what I see for myself, in like let's say in the music aspect, like I would do something with music that follows my passion, but it's not necessarily rapping anymore. Like I said, I would ghostwrite. I do, side gigs here and there, perform or whatever. But as far as becoming like a mainstream rapper, like my whole thing is everybody got their lane, right? You got your Currencies, then you got your Lil Waynes, then you got your Lil Pumps. You feel me? Everybody has their own little defined lane that they stay in.
So why can't you?
I want to stay in my lane, basically. And I mean, it's not that I can't, Gene, or Petty G. It's just that it's not. I'm not interested in anymore. Like in that aspect, you know. I just don't find that to be as appealing as I did when I was chasing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like me when I used to eat raisins as a young kid, but I don't eat them anymore. I think they disgusting.
What the? How in the hell?
Yo, Kyle, sit this one out, bro. Yo, Kyle, sit this one out, bro. Sit it out. Rest your hamstring, bro.
I don't have the same urge to eat raisins as I did when I was a young kid.
Nah, we heard you. Relax.
This nigga is over here talking about dried grape. Did you just compare me to a dried grape?
I compared the situation to dried grapes, not you. The situation you were referring to.
Well, raisins are still good snacks, though. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Reek on this one. What do I refer to you as, Reek or a hand with the juice? What's going on with that?
Whatever you feel more comfortable with, man.
I'm gonna stick with Reek, but I mean, you need to get back into rapping and go with him with the juice. So I'll say that.
Damn, Jay, you was real aggressive with this.
No, I'm sick. Yo, you is a dope rapper. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep it 100. You was a dope rapper. Think you should keep doing that shit. I ain't one of them niggas that just sit here and try to boost niggas up when I know that they ain't talented. Nah, you talented, nigga. You just need to stick with it. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, man. I might get back in the booth and spit stuff.
Got to, and then what you need to do is write me a hot 16 so I can get in the booth too. All right.
We don't need another Young Thug. We don't need another Young Thug. We already got one of those.
Hey, I hear you, bro.
We already got one of those, man. But yo, let's start this podcast off, son. Yeah, so I'm your host, Smoove. I'm here with Petty G, and we have a special guest in the building, TYreik, or you can call him Ham with the Juice. So yeah, let's get this podcast started. This is the Burg Bros Podcast.
Greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, beans, greens, beans, 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 greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkey, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkey. You name it. You name it. You name it. You name it.
So yeah, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that's going on in the sports world. I guess I'll start off by saying, you know, Manu Ginobili retired his jersey in the Spurs. How many years did he play? What, 16 maybe?
That nigga played 30 years. Goddamn.
Nah, he old, but he didn't play that many years.
Nigga, I remember him when he had the hair.
Yeah, he had the hair for like 2 seasons.
Yeah. He's dope, though.
The toupee. Hey, talk about dope. That nigga from the left, man. That was one cold-hearted shooter. Would y'all say he's a top 5 shooting guard of all time?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, then you gotta name 5 shooting guards better than him. If you're gonna say no, you gotta name 5 shooting guards better than him.
Okay, Jordan, Kobe, Clyde Drexler, Dr. J. You already know. You know what I'm saying?
Is Dr. J better than Manu Ginobili?
What? Kill yourself. Kill yourself.
All right, how about we keep it in this era? Because Gene, I know for a fact you ain't see Clyde play. So
okay, what era though?
The one that you was
so since '94.
All right, yeah, let's live it with that.
Okay, I mean Clyde, he was in his back end of his years in '94. Like he's still playing. Let's relax. Okay, so I'm gonna go Jordan.
Okay.
I'm gonna consider Allen Iverson a shooting guard. Considering him a shooting guard.
He was a guard. Go ahead.
Okay, Allen Iverson. Kobe. I put Kobe over at Allen. AI. Let's see. D Wade, even though he wasn't a shooter, but he was a shooting guard. I put D Wade. He's my favorite player. Fuck y'all. And one more. Shit. What's one more in this era? Tracy McGrady. T-Mac, he was a shooting guard, right? Or was he a small forward?
You brought T-Mac, a nigga that never won in the playoffs. Like,
I don't give a fuck. He was. I'm saying, are we going off of accolades or are we going off of pure talent?
Overall, top 5.
Okay, I mean, Tracy McGrady is a good match, but Tracy McGrady has nothing to really show for it, though. You know?
Okay, I'm going off of pure talent.
Okay.
Or motherfucking what's the nigga that played for the Wizards? Had a brain fart. Arenas.
No.
Even though he was a point guard.
No.
He's a point guard, but he's a shooter though.
Alright, so you confused.
James Harden is better.
Okay, thank you. I would have much rather you said James Harden than Ginobili.
He's better than Manu?
Yes. Y'all niggas forget he's a 6 man, right? Nigga came off the bench.
I am not arguing with you. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm.
Okay. I'm saying that Manu, he was a talented shooter, obviously, but outside of that, he didn't really have much. He was a clutch shooter. He's clutch, and he was a great shooter. But outside of that, he really didn't provide much.
He had a little bit of passing skills. He did a little bit of everything. He was a hustler. But
nigga, you don't get hustle points in this game, bro.
If it wasn't for Manu, I don't know about them chips, man. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you, but I'm not talent, like raw talent. I'm not comparing him to T-Mac. I'm not comparing him to Gilbert Arenas or I'm not comparing him to a lot of these niggas that are like overall better than him.
I would.
Nah.
I would.
Why?
Okay.
Because he got playmaking skills. Just because he's not the most athletic doesn't mean he's not the most high-rated IQ kind of player on the court. Gilbert Arenas, Tracy McGrady, okay, they nice, they athletic, they can shoot the ball, they can score. But Manu,
honestly, I got Crawford as a better 6 man.
Stop it!
Talk about my man Jay Crossover. No, do not disrespect.
Do not disrespect.
Look, I will never disrespect that man. But Manu is always going to be the better 6 man than Crawford. I'm sorry.
What? Because of the chips?
Because of everything, not just the chips.
No. I'm going to give you a solid fuck no.
Go ahead.
Anybody
Elaborate.
who can beat Jordan and poker, you got me. I'm good.
What? That has nothing to do with basketball.
I know.
But as far as what Jay Crossover accomplished, bro, Jamal Crawford, he literally put everybody. He put your favorite player on skates. I don't care what nobody got to say about that.
Preach it, brother.
His name is Jay Crossover, bro. If he was actually with a team that was bound to go to the chips, like he was on the Clippers. The Clippers had a decent team, but the Clippers as a unit, they ain't been nice since like whoever the fuck knows. I mean, for real though, you think about all of the teams that Jay Crossover, that man, as far as like talent goes, skills and as far as IQ, he is a Manu Ginobili. He just didn't have that coaching and that squad behind him to be able to like really back him. And
exactly.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, he been on a lot of bad teams: the Bulls, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Hawks.
All right, see, you went a little far by saying the Bulls was a bad team. Hop off.
From
yeah,
2000 from 2000 to 2004, the Bulls was a bad team.
Okay. I don't want to argue because then I get really.
And the Bulls is bad right now, so I don't know what's going on over there.
I feel like you're coming first. You ain't got to do that.
Speaking of which, do you feel like Zion could possibly land in the Bulls? Because I think it will.
With our season, it seems like we're going to get a top 3 pick, hopefully. Because, I mean, we done had 2 back-to-back bad seasons. So, I mean, we looking like Charlotte out here, for real.
Yo, relax. You got to relax. You got to relax. We just now went on a losing streak. Relax. We were about in the playoffs. Relax.
I got nothing but love for Charlotte, bro. I got nothing but love for my NC teams, bro. Shout out my NC teams. But listen, as far as what our season has been looking like, we got a chance at the top 3 picks. And if Zion comes to the Bulls, bro, I just hope he don't become like the bust that we have, like the Zach LaVines and the Jabari Parkers, for real.
Yo, I don't know about Jabari Parker, man. I think the injuries, made him lose a lot of time in getting better. So I don't think he was really a bust. He's a great player, in my opinion. It's just that the injuries got in the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to come back from tearing your ACL. Look at what Derek had to go through, that man tore his ACL, and he tore both of them, actually. and I mean, you rarely hear about Derrick Rose anymore, bro. He was the most explosive player at one point. Like, he was the only contender for like LeBron, and then he went down, and then the East was just taking over.
Yeah.
And since we on this topic, do you feel like Zion can not only live up to the hype, but do you feel like his shoes will sell as good as a James or?
I feel like Zion Williamson's shoes will sell better than LeVar Ball shoes. So,
well, obviously, with that shit show that's going on over there,
and they will sell better than the Currys. So,
I mean, yeah. Curry had that 1 year, and then it was shit from there.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see nobody wearing Currys out here, man.
Yeah. Under Armour? Nah.
I'm going to put Under Armour on my feet.
Nah, I'm good. I just use they compression shorts, and that's it. I'm not going Under Armour shoes. But I was reading this article about how Reebok made a huge offer to LeBron back when he was a rookie, like coming out of high school. I feel like LeBron was stupid for not taking this offer. So Reebok at one point was going to offer him $115 million. I think Nike only ended up underselling him for 70 or 80 million, which is still good. But Nike even said themselves, they usually don't get in these battles with competition. They usually short sell the athlete because they already know their arrogance. They already know that they the shit. So usually they sign niggas in without even having bidding war. So Reebok put out the offer for LeBron to get $115 million. His rookies coming out of high school, rookie season. LeBron only went with Nike because Reebok, one, he didn't like how their shoes looked, and two, he wanted to follow in the footsteps of Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yes, he was 18, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, but who is in his fucking corner to not say, nigga, take this goddamn deal? He would have been the first player to go over $100 million, signing straight out. but he didn't. He went with Nike.
I mean,
How y'all feel about that?
It's a tough decision because, like you said, one he's 18, and also it's not just the money. It's like, what is this decision going to be as far as his legacy? Is he going to be the guy who brings back Reebok, or he's going to be the guy who tries the Reebok thing and it just fails? And Nike, go ahead. Nah, but yeah, that's all I got. Go ahead.
What if Reebok, like, what if he signed that deal and then his career wasn't what it was?
I mean, that's the. I mean, obviously, I'm speaking on the fact that how his career eventually turned out. He could have. I'm on the side of he could have made Reebok his brand. Like Jordan made Nike his brand, because when we wasn't allowed to see this, but Nike wasn't popping when Jordan signed. It was Converse, it was Adidas, it was Puma, it was those brands that was popping at that time.
Very
Jordan
true.
made Nike popping. I felt like LeBron could have did that for Reebok.
Okay, but then what if he signed that deal and then he came out with the Steph Currys? Are you wearing those shoes?
Only reason Steph Curry got the Steph Currys is because once Durant joined the Warriors, Curry's stock went down. He was still a great player, but he's not as visible. And then he got hurt too, so that didn't help either. So his stock went way down. And then you got to remember, around that time too, Cam Newton, who was also signed to Under Armour, was popping as well. So I think all of that was inclusive to Curry being as popping as he was for that 1 year, as far as shoes was concerned.
That's a lot of good information, Gene, but are you wearing the Currys is the question.
No. Fuck no. Capital L. No. Fuck no. I'm not even wearing LeBrons, though. I'm not. I don't like LeBrons. I don't like their shoes. I don't like his shoes.
There's a few LeBrons that I would probably try on. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably rock.
I'm not rocking LeBrons.
But
Are you rocking LeBrons? Ham?
Man, probably the low tops. I still actually got a pair of the South Beach low tops. But after the LeBron 8s, them joints became just, they look like Optimus Primes on feet, bro.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Them joints is jacked now, bro.
Oh my goodness.
What colors did they come in?
Go ahead.
You said what?
What color?
Yeah, what colors did they come in?
I mean, the ones that I had came in like a turquoise blue and purple. And then they had, like, I like like I said, everything. The LeBron 8s were probably the toughest LeBrons that came out. Because anything after the LeBron 8s, really, like, you wasn't even buying them unless you was a hype beast, for real. Because, like, I mean, we know as far as sneaker culture, I'm gonna break it down to you like this. Sneaker culture wise, you already know Jordan has the top sneaker in sneaker culture brand. Then under him in that era was the LeBrons, and now people not even wearing sneakers anymore. So you got Balenciagas making shoes that look like Yeezys. You got Yeezys making shoes that look like Adidas. You get what I'm saying? Like, everything is starting to become like a trend, and people are just becoming culture vultures, and it's like nobody has their own identity anymore. And the shit really trash, because a lot of the shoes I be seeing, like, people be putting on their feet, them shits be ugly as fuck, but because they got Balenciaga on the fucking side of it, then they fire. But them shits ain't even fire. And they be like, oh, but you can't afford it. Nigga, I wouldn't pay to buy some shit that I wouldn't even wear. So, like,
you know
what?
You know whose shoes is fire that y'all don't even know is fire?
What?
Rodman's.
What?
Dennis Rodman.
You said Rodman?
Dennis Rodman's. Them shit's fire.
I had to see a picture.
Yeah,
Yo, I looked them shits up, bro.
I'm actually looking it up right now.
Not too long ago. Them shit's fire, bro.
Dennis Rodman shoes.
No cap. Just type that shit in, bro. Google that shit. That shit fire. No cap.
They not too bad. They not too bad. I can tell that they got a lot of material for rebounding. So if you want to play ball, these are and you a center or you trying to get some rebounds and some good material.
Nah, Shaq's shoes was trash though.
They was trash.
That's my favorite player.
It was trash. It was worse
than my favorite player
than the Ewings.
Honestly, Shaq attire. I'm not picking you up in a pick on. I'm not picking you up on a 5-on-5. If we run that pool and you got Shaq's on, you gotta wait till the next game.
Shaq shorts, Shaq shirt, no.
Nah. What if that nigga the best on the court though?
What?
Yeah, that logo was trash, bro.
Real shit though.
Logo was trash, nigga. I don't want a nigga like dunking with two hands on my shit, bro. Nah, I'm good.
It was something different.
Real different.
Too different.
What about the Patrick Ewings?
Nah.
Oh, you tripping, G.
Swipe left. I ain't seen the Patrick Ewings. Let me Google that shit right quick.
Nah,
I don't know what Patrick Union is, but Patrick
Ewings.
That's why he said no. He said.
Oh, I thought you said Patrick Union, bro. My bad.
I don't know what Patrick Union is, but I know them Patrick Union. Them joints was
let me get this shit. Let me get on this shit. He was a part of that. They said he was part of that hype beast shit too, though. Like years, nobody really got on this shit until after he retired.
Hey, Jen, I'm gonna let you know something too, bro. You got the Kawhi Leonard laugh, bro.
Oh nah,
that shit crazy, yo.
The Kawhi, yo. When I heard that,
so disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. We gotta fight, bro. Yo, Reed, when we gonna get that? When we gonna shoot them ones, bro?
Hey, man, you gotta ask the rest of the fam. They got some ones too.
Yo, nah, I'm skipping to the front of the line. When we gonna box, bro?
Homecoming, cuz I'm gonna be out there.
Homecoming? We gonna be lit on homecoming? Put 500 on it, bro. Put 500.
Nah, you know damn well that G ain't gonna make it to the homecoming, man.
That shit crazy. Why you saying that? What's up?
Coming for 2 hours, then you gotta.
Hold on, put some bass in your voice when you talk to us.
Come on now. What'd you say?
I was gonna slide down for graduation, but man, I don't know.
Nah,
I don't know. But yeah, man, homecoming, I'm sliding through it, bro. I missed last year. I was sick as hell.
Nah, it's all good. We gonna link up for that homecoming. Rick, you got anything that's on your mind you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. I definitely got something on my mind, bro. Man, listen. I'm gonna say this, and the way I'm gonna say it, I just don't feel like the way this Nipsey Hussle situation went down was what the media proclaimed it to be. And it's kind of like draining because, you always got your prominent artists, you got your prominent black leaders in America. And it seems like as soon as a prominent black person is on the rise, they get snipped as soon as they start making some type of change. And it's so sick to see, like people going back and forth on social media about what happened, what didn't happen, mentioning his counterpart. I want to say wife, but I don't know if they were married. I'm gonna just, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just go say wife.
I think they was married.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say wife. And then mentioning things that just like as far as us as a community, and I say us as black people, we fall short in the really seeing what's going on in front of us, man. And it's so crazy because for the first few days, I mean, it's really fresh. We're going to see, you know, a lot of Nipsey posts, a lot of rest in peace Nipseys, and a lot of, you know, a lot of memorial type of ordeals. But then in a week or so, a viral video is going to hit the net, or a couple of viral videos going to hit the net, and people going to forget about what happened. And it's like, you know, I'm not saying that we should just dwell in the moment, but there's a lot of things that are going on in this world that are becoming unanswered. You know, you get one side of the story, people are talking about, you know, and this is all perspective, but it being a conspiracy of how he was exposing the government about Dr. Sebi and his research, which brought a light to something. And then you have this, you know, other conspiracy. It was some neighborhood stuff because he's known as a Rolling 60s Crip. It was Crip or gang related. And then, you know, my whole thing is like a lot of that could be employed just to like mask what really is going on in Crenshaw. Like, it's a lot of gang killings. It's a lot of bullshit that happens in LA that doesn't make national news, but it takes a prominent black man to be killed in front of his store in broad daylight for people to start taking notes. And that's what kind of turns my stomach, because, you know, I like Nipsey. I like listening to his music because it seemed like everything he was putting out actually had a message. And he was one of the artists that I felt had his own lane as well. Like he reminded me of like a Currency type of rapper where he wasn't really out in the game for fame, because Nipsey had been out for damn near 10 years. He on some 2 Chainz shit. Like, people just got hip to Nipsey, you know. And his latest project, which was Victory Lap, like I fuck with that. I fuck with that album because of one of the songs, Dedication, with him and Kendrick. And if you listen to that, it's just like it's something that if you're going through a hard time and you listen to that song, bruh, it will get you through, because, you know, the things that he's saying is like, yo, it'll get better, bro. Don't dwell in what's going on in the present, but think about the future. And it just sucks to see that, you know, a person like that would actually take, you know, a fall like this in our community, you know, and not for nothing, you got people saying that he was just this generation's Tupac. Now, how I feel about Nipsey, I feel like he was a very strong person in this community. I felt like he was a very big leader, and for him to just playing like this, it was sickening, man. And it just shows that it don't matter how far away from something or someone you are, you can still feel the pain for a loss. And I feel the pain for the people that are forgotten, like the Philando Castells, who, you know, and I'm not saying that this is really intertwined as far as like police brutality, but like just black men losing their lives, and mothers having to lose their sons, or mothers having to lose their children, or parents in general have to lose their children. And that's one thing that parents that are in 2019 have to worry about when they're raising children is, are they going to have to bury their child before their child buries them? And that shit is so sad. And it's like, it's everywhere. It's not just Crenshaw, but it's just the fact that, like, in this situation, it brought a light that, you know, everybody needed to see, you know. And I hate that it had to happen through death. I hate that it had to be somebody passing before we start taking notice to shit that's going wrong in the world.
Yeah, I think that everything you're saying is 100% fact. I feel like Tupac passed the baton to Nipsey, and I feel like Nipsey was really expanding off of what Tupac, the legacy Tupac left. I feel like he, you know, like you said, with the Dr. Sebi documentary, and then with him looking into STEM research and owning his businesses and you know, all those great things outside of rap. And then not only that, inside his raps, he was speaking facts and then some real shit. Felt like he was bigger than music, which is saying a lot because a lot of people is moved by music, and the fact that you can be bigger than music and have the impact that he had, you know, was having, and he was only 33, it spoke volumes. And, you know, with him being a black man and, you know, the stereotypes that come with that, and I'm listening to different people who actually was close to him. He was a down-to-earth guy who was really about his shit, real authentic. You know, it's unfortunate, and it really hit close to home because I always, you know, envision my dad, you know, who was in my life, my whole life, and then envisioning my younger brother. You know, anything like that always hit close to home. So, you know, it wasn't really until the day that it really hit me. You know, it's because, you know, that just shows how big of an impact, you know, not only his death has, but just all black men that, you know, it comes to light, you know, have on the black community. And it's just an unfortunate event.
Yeah, it's very sad news. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle died a couple of days ago, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. People think it's this, people think it's that. I heard y'all mention the Dr. Sebi documentary and all of that. Like, do y'all think it was some gang related, or was it like? Do you guys think it was some kind of conspiracy theory, government type deal?
All right.
Go ahead.
Gene, spit yours, because I gotta. If we're gonna talk conspiracy theories, I'm gonna throw something out here. Well, go ahead, Gene.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say I feel like first and foremost, I feel like it's envy, because I think they said that the dude, the suspect was a rapper. You know, he's 29. You know, wanted to be a rapper, all that, but he wasn't nowhere near Nipsey. But he apparently he was in Nipsey's circle. But apparently that's why he was anywhere close to Nipsey, because he was in that circle or whatever. I don't know if Nipsey was like, you know, really like close to him, but apparently he was close enough to be able to do that. But I feel like envy played a huge role, and envy is the ugliest thing possible. I think so, because anybody who can, I mean, I feel like we all have a sense of envy, but I feel like most of us, I give people the benefit of that. I feel like most of us have the ability to then overcome that envy and then dig down deep and really go get it ourselves, you know. But there's some people that's so weak that they just have to lash out at those they envy. And instead of internalizing it and going out and try to get it for themselves, they try to go harm others to try to boost themselves up. And I just think that's corny as fuck, it's stupid as fuck, and it's the worst thing imaginable. And men and women can go through that shit, you know, have the envy shit. But I feel like it takes a strong character to overcome that and really try to get it for themselves. And I feel like that's what was the backbone behind this to begin with. So go ahead, Reed.
I was about to say, Kyle, you gonna spit something or what?
Oh, nah, I was going to wait on you about the conspiracy theory.
All right. Well, all right. Let me go ahead and put this in a hypothetical situation, because people, I don't even want to say people. We have a mass generation or a population that thinks that an idea of how something could happen is conspiring. I want to put this in a hypothetical situation. Now, I wasn't there. I wasn't in front of a camera or behind the camera to see what actually happened. I don't know what affiliation Nipsey had with this said suspect, but what I feel, or how I look at it, of what it could have been, is that, say potentially Nipsey was making these strides of efforts to expose something that didn't make mass media, right? And when we talk about, like, exposure, we talk about, like, hidden gems soon as this happens. So this is where I'm formulating this, is that say Nipsey was actually making strides to fulfill the legacy for the Dr. Sebi documentary, right? Say prominent people in the government caught wind of that and didn't want that type of information leaked out into the world.
Correct.
So who's to say that there wasn't a person that was infiltrated in, because you think about covert informants, or they said the nigga was a snitch, basically. So a confidential informant basically being swayed with no choice. It's either you do it or you die, to go murder somebody and then get the murder pinned on you, so that now we take the light from it now being about a documentary into being, oh, well, this happened because of some gang affiliation. Because once you put gang affiliation in front of it, it masks everything else behind it.
Right.
Now there's a misconstrued message going around nationwide, and it's just wild how, you know, in that time frame. Now I want to say this played a factor, is that once it happened, they didn't find a suspect until about a day or two later. But it's either, one, they were extremely good at what they're doing when it comes to finding murder suspects, which means that a lot of cases need to be solved in that district that aren't just Nipsey's cases.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it should have been more than just Nipsey's case that have been cracked in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to talk about, oh, well, Nipsey was slain, and then 2 days later we got a suspect in custody who we think did it. So who's to say that he wasn't, that the nigga that killed him wasn't set to kill Nipsey in order to take the fall for it, to make it look like it was gang related? And this is, this is just hypothetical things that cross my mind, like, you know, because anybody can say anything, but it seems like a lot of this shit just don't. That's why it don't sit well with me, because it's like, you know, y'all are throwing all of these stories out and all of this information out, and nothing is really concrete. You feel me? Because the biggest thing you can do, the worst thing you can do is cover it up.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I think that because he collabed with Jay-Z, I believe, for this documentary. So I don't think that Jay-Z is just going to let this shit fold. And then Nick Cannon said he's going to try to, you know, help carry it on too. So I think the documentary is going to be done well. You know, I think that we'll see what happens. Like if Nick Cannon get on and Jay-Z, I mean, obviously Jay-Z's still going to carry it on. So I think that'll be the telltale right there. If something happens to them niggas, I think that's when the conspiracy can actually be confirmed, when that happens.
Right, and I just can't wait till the documentary come out, if somebody's working on that, to continue that legacy. But my stance is this, right? So exactly what Tyreik was saying about this situation. It's not far-fetched for us to think that the government can infiltrate somebody in there and get into the small circle and stop, you know, whatever progress any black leader is trying to do, right? So it's not far-fetched for us to think that, and it's also not far-fetched for us to think that it may be something out of envy, out of jealousy. This guy can be a jealous guy, nothing to do with the government. But the only thing we can do right now is just see and wait for the court of law to see what they're going to do, and we just can come up with our own conclusions as to why this guy died. And it's just, we'll never really know the honest 100% truth, but we can pretty much get close to it.
Yeah.
I think his death I think his death will bring a lot of notoriety to what the movement he was. I think, like I said earlier, he's bigger than music. I feel like he's the movement himself. So hopefully this unfortunate incident can shine some light on the good that he was doing, and hopefully propel that to good coming out of it.
Yeah, that's how you know he had like a big influence. Not only just the hip hop community, the whole black culture community as well. Because maybe it's just me, but I didn't really listen to his music, and anybody around me didn't really listen to his music. But I always seen him around doing prosperous things or having interviews talking about, generational wealth or your mindset. So, I mean, like he had a big influence outside of the music.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is like somebody made a point to me is like the winners write the history books, basically. So you can't really fight after somebody passes. It's like when I say the winners write the history books is I don't want to sound racist, but like white people have written our history as far as American history. When you think about actual history, black people built the country. But it's not perceived like that. It's not perceived that we made the building or we put the building blocks. It's the fact that people, and I hate to generalize it, but people often fall short for the thought thinking it wasn't black people who were the pioneers or the founding fathers of this country, which we were. We don't talk about the Lewis Latimers who created the filament for the light bulb. We talk about Thomas Edison. Because anytime somebody says who created the light bulb, the first person is Thomas Edison. That comes to mind. But that isn't true. The patent, was written to take the credit from the people that actually built.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what kills now is that everybody out here clout chasing and they're not really respecting the root. They're not getting the message.
Kai, have you finished the 48 Laws of Power book?
Nah, I did not finish that. I did not finish it.
Did you ever read the 48 Laws of Power?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I feel like it's because I mean when I listen to that book, I listen on audio. I can't that reading shit for the birds, bro. But yeah, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, they've been doing this shit since the 1500s, since before BC. Like, they always take, even within their own race, they always take and make it theirs. And that's one of the powers, is taking credit for somebody else's shit and making it yours. And I mean, and I'm seeing it now, like with social media, I'm seeing the different laws of power happening. Like just watching different shows and listening to different things and going on social media. Period. It just showcases people flexing their laws of power and how they utilize it. And I just feel like I think that's the bigger picture. I feel like we kind of being in America. Obviously, black people have endured the shit end of that power struggle, but I feel like that's the bigger picture, is power. And then, we just never been on that winning end of power. I feel like I always think about this after I read that book, is I feel like there's certain black people or black leaders that are for equality, and then I feel like there's some that's just wanting to be on the winning end of racism. And I feel like there's certain ones that just care about being on the winning end of racism. The ones that be like, let's do to white people what they done to us. I feel like that's just wanting to be in the power, being empowered and want to just control somebody else. And I feel like if you really want equality, then let's do like Martin Luther King said. Let's see each other as equal. Let's not try to do this because that person did that to us. I just feel like if we truly want that, I feel like that's the method we should take. Is that method? And I don't feel like a lot of people is really trying that, especially in the black community. The black leaders of now, I don't feel like they're taking that approach.
I mean, I feel like most of them are. You got people like Jay-Z and Beyonce doing their thing. Diddy's doing his thing. Meek Mill, he's doing his thing. They're trying to build a new black agenda.
You talking about rappers, but you talking about rappers. I'm talking about like the actual activists.
Activism.
Activists. I don't feel like
activism can be in all different forms. It doesn't have to be a preacher. It doesn't have to be a teacher. It could be all different forms. It could be music heads. It could be people that work behind the scenes in music. It could be people that work in film. Poets, writers, anybody that pushes the black agenda.
I agree with that. I'm saying that, I mean, actors, artists, athletes, whatever your profession is, I feel like that's your profession. Like, you can do activism on the side, but your profession, what you're 100% focused on, is that. People who just focus on activism and that's their claim to fame, so to speak, I feel like those are the ones of today, is the ones that is leading us down a sketchy path, so to speak. Martin Luther King wasn't a rapper or an athlete or whatever. He was an activist. He was a leader in the black community, a true leader. And the people who's filling that void today, I don't feel like they're doing the job that Martin Luther King is doing.
Like, who would you say is filling that void today and is not doing a great job?
Farrakhan. Even though I give respect to him, I feel like Farrakhan. What's that? The nigga that did was trying to do that. Trying to build a school, a college.
Yeah, I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. It'll come back to me eventually. But I just feel like
my question is this: not a question. It's a statement. We don't necessarily need that leader role like we did in the '60s and the '70s. We can because we can all be leaders. That way, you ever heard of that terminology? Cut the snake at the head or something like that. Because they're cutting the leader, and once you cut the leader out, everybody underneath that leader is like running around. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? But if everybody is a leader, then they can't cut the snake's head the snake's head off, and then have everybody scrambling around. If everybody know what they doing, everybody's being a leader. Like they can't take down the leader, and then everything falls down like the Black Panther or the Civil Rights Movement in the '60s and the '70s.
Rick, how you feel about that analogy? Because I don't know how I feel about it, but how you feel about that?
Well, I think people. Okay, so when you say activism or activists, we all think about like the prominent role models that we grew up knowing: the Malcolm X, the Marcus Garveys, the Martin Luther King, the Rosa Parks. I feel as if Black people do still need that person to be able to look up to, because we can all be leaders. That is very true. We all have the design to be able to be a leader, but the purpose of being a leader is to have a following and have people actually respect what you're doing in your other communities, and it comes in different shapes and forms. Is that we have a lot of powerful black people who do not use their platform to show that there is change coming, or there is a change in what we need, because we do need something to change. We do need Colin Kaepernick to basically take a knee and sacrifice his career for people to actually open their eyes and use his platform to open their eyes to police brutality. Because, before the whole kneeling situation, you were seeing police kill black people on a worldwide or nationwide scale, and it was becoming normal. That was our new normal, is that it's another black person getting killed by the cops, which at this point needs to stop happening, because every black person isn't a threat to society. You do have your threats to society, but every black person isn't a threat to society, and there is a such thing as black innocence, or people being innocent and caught up in the wrong situation, or a misunderstanding in becoming, because you're black, the aggressor, and being threatened or feeling threatening other people. And it takes people that have those platforms with a large scale of followers to be able to promote that message. This needs to stop. Hey, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and piggyback off of that, G.
Yeah, I feel like, I remember the activist, Dr. Umar, I believe.
Umar Johnson.
Yeah. So, I feel like when you said the analogy, cut the snake off by the head and scatter, I feel like we need different leaders. We don't need just one guy to turn to.
Right.
We need multiple leaders, but I feel like we need leaders who are focused on leading for a certain cause. We don't need a Beyonce who's really focused on her singing career, but also try to get back into activism when she can. We need somebody who's pinpoint focused, who can battle these, whether it's white people, whether it's, other races, whatever, who can really talk for us, who can dipping in and out of different languages, different worlds, and understand and really voice what we're about, and help it and break it down in layman terms for other cultures and other races. That I feel like that's what we need. We don't need the Migos to be like, we're here for y'all. No, we need somebody who can articulate us, whether it's in a scholarly manner or it just in a real basic manner. We need somebody to really get it and speak that language and really be in there, and, not just be in it part time, be in it full time. That's how I feel, and I feel like that, unfortunately, it's turned to like Kanye was that for us for a while. Like, people turned to Kanye to be our voice, and you see where that ended up. Because I don't know his situation, but look how that turned out. That's all I have to really say. But he's an artist. He's not an activist, and we need a true activist, or active, plural. We need multiple activists to really voice what we're going through here in America. That's my point.
I have a strong question. I'm curious. When Martin Luther King was giving speeches and Malcolm X was giving speeches and going around and touring and doing different walks, and who was funding their campaigns? Like, who
churches, fundraisers. I mean,
so in order for that to happen these days, we have to do that whole funding thing again. If you want to do the whole one leader activist role,
but we don't need. That's what I'm saying. We don't need one leader. We need multiple leaders. We just don't need everybody who has a check by their name on Instagram to be a leader. We need true leaders. You know what I'm saying? We need educated leaders. We need niggas who went to college and graduated college and know they shit, be on they shit. And I say college specifically, not because college is such a great thing. No, because college is where you meet a plethora of different people. You become more cultured because now you get outside of your hood, get outside of your neighborhood, and really understand, Sally from Cali, or, Brian from Washington, or Isla Lakem from fucking Istanbul or some shit. I don't know. But you understand people from different cultures and different races, and I need somebody who graduated college, have a good understanding. I don't even give a fuck about your degree. Just somebody who's of our people and know how to articulate themselves.
But you just said you need somebody. I thought you was referring. You needed like a couple of leaders. Yeah,
I'm saying somebody, but I'm saying somebodies. Let me say it in plural terms. Somebodies. So I need. I mean that's how they had it back then. Just like Reek said, he went down a list of the people we need. That was from our past. And that's what I'm saying. We need
facts.
A list of people. We don't need just one leader. We don't need, because you put too much trust in one person, obviously it can be corrupt. That's what I'm saying. You need multiple people so you can check. Like if a person talking crazy, that those leaders can check them before everybody else on social media can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think anybody that has a decent platform with followers should be able to speak on situations like this, or situations that are happening not only in their community but in communities in general. Like, the whole thing is people wouldn't know about situations in Flint if somebody didn't come out and say, well, hey, we're Flint, we don't have clean water. We haven't had clean water for about 5 to 10 years. Can somebody help us? I mean, there's lead in water everywhere. It's not just Flint. Flint just is taking the biggest hit right now. I mean, they've been taking the biggest hit for the longest time. But right down the street is Detroit, and Detroit ain't doing well economically either on that aspect. And it's like we don't have, we have certain leaders like LeBron that are actually using their platform to, create some type of awareness, because it's one thing to be a leader, but if you're not bringing awareness to the situations or the issues at hand, then what are you actually leading for? What is your purpose? And that's basically what I was getting at, is that it doesn't necessarily have to just be Malcolm X or Martin Luther King for us to know about something. When it comes to people that have large Twitter followers or a large Twitter following, to be able to make a statement and say, this needs the attention, this needs some attention, this needs your attention, because, the best thing to do about a problem is to bring awareness to that problem so that we can try to fix the problem. When there's no awareness brought to a problem, then we don't know about it. There's no way we can help. There's no way we can change anything in that aspect. And that's basically, what I feel as far as our prominence, and that's the one thing, is that there are certain, we do have black activists, but we don't know their names as well as we know our black entertainers.
True.
That's true.
Entertainers make more than educators. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing, is that, like, we live in a society where, as backwards as that is, people's primary focus is on entertainment, and it's not about education anymore. Education has become so dulled down and boring to our youth that, you know, that's basically the ideal or the concept that, you know, once we take education from the people, we take their minds, we have their bodies and souls. And I know y'all have seen the movie Get Out, and I think that's one of the things Jordan Peele was trying to, like, attack, is that once we take your mind, your body is in my control. Once we have your thoughts, once we have what you're consumed by, and I'm a victim of it too. When I say a victim, because, you know, I was at a point where, you know, I was shunning social media instead of using it as a platform to try to speak on different things. I was shunning social media because I felt like it took away from some of the college experiences that we lacked, that people in the 90s had, because before social media, you had to actually go meet a person. You know, you didn't DM nobody. There were no DMs. You had to go actually meet the people and speak to people and get to know people and get to know people's families before, you know, you could just send a DM and say, nothing too cute, what's up with you? Or send emojis and send some eyes. You know, this is like black dating. You don't even have to leave your house to find a chick. You can just swipe right on Tinder.
Black people meet.
Zeus. All of these fucking dating apps that, you know, Christian mingle. You got so much out here that is keeping you in the crib, and it's crazy because it's like, this is what's making us more lazy as human beings, is that if it's being done for us, what's the point of doing it ourselves?
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Go ahead, G.
And that's my issue with the social media era, is because, like we said, people with big platforms should use it for, you know, the good of the people. You know, put people who are more educated on their platform so they can, you know, voice what's really going on. But problem with that is it has become the trend. Like mental health now, that's become the trend. Like artists, celebrities have pulled that card out, you know, for the past year or so. I'm dealing with mental health issues. Even a nigga that shot Nipsey went to a mental institute, you know, checked his full name in so he could get caught in a mental institute. I feel like we're pulling that card out too much, and it's just becoming a trend instead of being an actual conversation, as well as many conversations. Just like the Kaepernick taking a knee, it turned from him taking a knee for justice for black people getting killed by police, and it turned into the NFL, you know, kicking Kaepernick off, you know, kicking him out of the league because he took a knee, as opposed to what the real issue was. And I just hate that a lot of the real issues are just becoming a trend and not an actual conversation.
Yeah, that's very true. Like these days, us as Americans, us as people, to be honest, we just became a lot more desensitized than we used to be. Like when the news came out back then, even in the early 2000s, the 9/11, like it was much more of a heartache than tragic events that happen these days. Like Nipsey Hussle just died, and I seen a video on Instagram of some young lady create some kind of joke piggybacking off of that death, and I'm like, yo, this whole internet, social media, like we just became a lot more desensitized to tough issues that happen these days.
Yeah, 100%, and it's disgusting. Honestly, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know where the world is going from here, but I guess we will see. I mean, if we want to go on a lighter note,
Reek, if you done on the topic, I like to, kind of switch up the mood.
Yeah, switch it up real quick, G.
Okay, well, it's still kind of a touchy topic, but it's lighter than Nipsey getting killed. I think we can all agree on this. I don't know if I heard about this Porzingis allegations.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have a theory on that.
Go ahead.
So I think the reason he left New York and the reason why the Knicks was so ready to trade him was because of this whole incident a full year ago.
Explain to the people what the incident is, G. Go ahead.
So the incident is Porzingis. He basically, the accuser was his neighbor, and apparently it was the same night that he had an ACL injury, and which sidelined him the rest of that year. Apparently that same night, he alleged raped the victim or accuser, but she didn't take action until last Thursday, I believe. So yeah, and around that time, that's when there was talks of Porzingis getting traded and him wanting to leave and all that shit. That didn't happen until this year. What was it, January, around end of January or whatever. So I think that played into that trade and why they were so willing to get rid of him. And I think that's why he was so ready to leave New York. I think both parties were just ready. I think that's why both parties were just so ready to get rid of, separate because of this issue. And then, of course, he playing with Dallas now. Apparently, I don't know if he dealing with injury or whatever, but he been sidelined for the past couple games or whatnot, and just kind of flamed up. So that's my theory on it.
Yeah, I feel like Porzingis, he comes from overseas. He's an international player. Me personally, I don't really think he would do something of that caliber. It just don't seem like he would be the type of guy that do something like that. But I may be wrong. This girl, whoever she is, she accused him of rape. She waited to this long, especially because of the whole Me Too movement been going on for a little minute now. I don't know why she waited this long. It may be a story that she's just trying to get some money out of Porzingis. And he's just like, what in the world is going on in New York City? I got to get out of here.
What's to add to that, she also, I think one report said that she was actually asking him to put $68,000 towards her brother college tuition.
Yeah. See, this. I think it was a grind for her. I think it was some kind of like she gets money out of ball players, some type shit.
How you feel about this, Reed?
Well, I mean, this is news to me. This is the first time I'm actually hearing about Porzingis being accused of this. But I mean, one thing I can say about this subject is that, like, forced sexual encounters, rape, it's one of those things that, like, you can never overlook the reasoning. Now, it could be that Porzingis is, about to feel like he's worth millions of dollars and she just wants money. But I don't think that women are really crying rape for money. Like, I think you have to actually be traumatized. So when it comes to, like, the amount of time for her coming out, it takes strength for women to come out and say that, because, for women, that you're basically tearing their world down. Like, situation, you know, so I can't really speak on it because I don't know Porzingis. But if if you're being accused for that, and I do want to say that there are a lot of athletes that do get accused for that because of their status. You know, there was a story of like some football players who lost scholarships due to a false accusation, you know, and the woman came out later saying that, you know, she was never really raped. And that is just one thing, you know, is very touchy. You can't really say she wasn't because you don't know, and then you can't really say she was because you don't know. So the only thing is that she would have to get a rape kit to try to prove that it was by force, and she, you know, it wasn't consensual.
Do you feel like false accusers, do you feel like they should serve some jail time?
Definitely. Because that also ruins somebody's life. Like, if you lie to ruin someone's career, I believe you should get the same sentence as a person that, well, I won't say the same sentence, but you should get some type of sentence that reflects that, you know, because that's sick. You know, rape.
I would say the same sentence.
Rape isn't something you should joke about. Rape isn't something that you should, you know, take lightly because it is, you know, and it doesn't just happen to women. Also, you know, it's more prominent in women, or I don't think prominent is the word that I wanted to use, but it's more likely to happen to women than it is to men. But still, rape is rape, you know. And it's like I said, it takes someone's sanity. It takes someone peace of mind. Now, everywhere they go, they're feeling some type of fear because they don't know at the end of the day whether they are being protected. And someone that she may have looked up to, or someone that she was looking to as a protector, takes that sanity, then I just
does that change how you operate, like as far as dealing with women, as far as courting and dating and stuff like that? Like, does this Me Too movement change how you go about things?
I mean, I was never really forceful towards women, so I don't know what you mean by change.
I'm saying, like, as far as like not forceful. I'm saying as far as like, you know, y'all both drinking, y'all both having a good time, whatever, or smoking, whatever, under the influence, and does like that aspect change?
As far as sexual encounters, all of my sexual encounters have been consensual, and they will continue to be consensual because it's really, like, when it comes to sex, for me, like, I want the woman to really make the first move, truly. Like, I might come on to you, but as soon as I feel resistance, I'm off. Like, all right, well, that was fun. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't need any sexual resistance. Like, if there's any type of resistance when it comes to dealing with a woman or dealing with, like, sex in general, then I don't even want it. Because, I mean, that shit is honestly a turnoff. Don't get me horny and then tell me no. Well, shit, now you gotta go. You know?
Okay.
And, I mean, that was kind of deep, but actually, I lost a girlfriend. She wasn't my girlfriend, but she was a female friend because, you know, we was back in my Eagle Landing days.
Whole days. Just say it, whole days.
Wow, that is disrespectful.
We all have a stretch of whole days, but just go ahead.
Back in my whole days, you know, me and Shorty, and I wasn't even under the influence. Me and Shorty was kicking it, you know, kissing or whatever, and you know, we get to second base, then third base, and she stopped. And
I hate that.
And I'm over here, nigga, I'm harder than the final decision. I'm sitting over here, on cement. Nigga, this ain't even funny. I'm hurt because every time I think about this shit, I was like, damn, and I'm pretty sure it would have been fine. But I go to reach for the condom, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing?" So she's like, "Oh nah, this ain't that type of party." And I'm like, "Well, your pants are already off, so you giving me mixed signals." Bruh, this is the first time I ever kicked somebody out my spot. I was like, "Well, you can go." She was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Shit, if you want to, nigga, you're not finna sit here and have me over here sweating."
You should have waited to the next time. She probably wouldn't let you have it, man.
I mean, yeah, I could say I was overzealous. I was real excited, you know, and it was just one of them. But you know, when the blood rushing from your head to the tip of your penis, nigga, you ain't really in the mood for we playing games now.
So Tyreik, how did that night end? Bro?
Lonely as hell.
Damn. Yeah, I feel you on that, bro.
You got to kick out the porn?
God damn.
Alright, I ain't gonna lie, I did hit the hub.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Hey, yo, don't be ashamed of the hub, bro.
Ain't no shame.
Don't be ashamed.
Ain't no shame in the game.
We ain't pouring shame in here, bro.
Nah, I was on the hub, but it was just like, damn. But nah, no cap, she stopped fucking with me after that. But it was just like, well, shit.
Understandable.
I mean, understandable. But then I also felt like you was playing on my emotions. Like, you out here getting me all rowdy and dowdy, and then you gonna turn me down like that, and it's just
it's all about power, Reed.
Yeah.
That's her power.
Yep.
That's her power.
Yep.
It's turning niggas down, and that's your power of fucking bitches. Well, back then, during our whole days.
Yeah.
That's the power.
And then you gonna throw it on the podcast like we ain't live, but it's cool.
Most definitely, man. We out here. We out here.
I'm a reformed hoe, nigga. My wholeness got deleted with Drea.
You a born again version?
My wholeness got deleted with Drea.
That's crazy.
Who that?
That's ridiculous.
Oh,
you don't know what Drea is?
Okay.
Come on now.
Hey, bro.
I'm like,
come on, Kyle.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
But nah.
Yo, do y'all feel like KD saved the NBA?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I was what was I listening to? I was listening to motherfucking Chris Carter and that other nigga talking, and you know how the comments is on the YouTube shit.
Yeah.
Somebody said KD saved the NBA, and I'm like, what? But then I start thinking about it. Then I'm like, okay, KD came in what, 07?
Yeah.
07. LeBron came in 03.
Yep.
Okay. So then I start thinking, okay, LeBron was in like before he got to his prime in 07. I think it's fair to say his prime is current, and I think he got it well into his prime about 4 years ago. So I'm thinking, especially when KD made that move to the Warriors, I think that put a boost in the NBA stock.
Nah, I disagree.
I feel like that. But I'm gonna tell you mine. I'm gonna tell you my piece,
okay.
And then you can go, and then y'all can go. I feel like every league, everything needs a bad guy. Whether it's a movie, whether it's a sports league or a sports whatever, anything, every story needs a bad guy. Every story needs conflict. I think that conflict, him adding to the Warriors, I feel like that like how LeBron went to the Heat I feel like that was great for the NBA for that reason. And I think KD going to the Warriors and then continuing that Warrior, whatever they started in 2015, before KD got there, and then them adding KD, I feel like the NBA needed that top dog that everybody hated. And I think once KD joined the squad, because everybody loved the Warriors before he joined. Once KD got there, everybody hated them. I think that's what the league needed. Even though the NBA is still on a steady decline as far as ratings is concerned, I feel like that kind of helped keep NBA afloat a little bit. So I can say from that aspect, KD did help. Even though I'm Team LeBron, I can say KD did help from that aspect.
I can completely understand where you're coming from, and that's a great analogy. But what I will say is, even without KD in the league, I would say the Warriors saved the league. Not only saved the league, they kind of changed the game. They shot up threes.
No, they did. They did change the game.
Right.
They did.
Shooting up threes all the time. And, say KD never existed. The Warriors would still be that thing in LeBron's way of getting all of these championship rings.
But there's a difference between rooting for and rooting against. You can root for somebody, but it can still be boring. You need somebody to root against. Like the Cowboys with the NFL, like you need somebody to root against. Like, if your favorite team is playing against the Warriors, you're like, they win. Fuck it. But now that you hate them, it's like, man, let's kill these niggas.
But
it's
people was hating the Warriors before KD got there.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Nah. How you feel about that, Reed?
I think that the NBA as a whole is taking a decline.
Definitely.
I mean, KD saving the NBA is a huge stretch. Because the NBA gonna be the NBA. You always gonna have. You're not gonna really recreate a LeBron, but you always gonna have those superstars that show out. Like our next superstar is gonna be a Zion Williamson. So
thank you very much. Say that one more time, Reek. Say that one more time.
I mean, you're gonna have a next superstar as a Zion Williamson or RJ Barrett. You know, like you just.
No, that's a question in itself. Who you feel like is going to be a bigger superstar, Zion, RJ, at the end of their career in the NBA?
With Zion's build, Zion.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Because in the league, they're gonna slim him down. They're gonna slim him down.
By how much? I don't think he should lose too much weight.
He should go down to 265.
Nah, they're gonna have to. It's not healthy for him to be that big and that's all.
Yeah.
Like he's
I think let's forget about Charles Barkley.
No, we don't. But Charles Barkley never got a ring. So, with that being said, I'm going to tell you that with his athleticism, for him to develop as a player, I mean, college is one thing. Yeah, you're dominating college. But to dominate in the league, you're going to have to slim his lower half down. He's a big guy, but his weight and his height distribution it's not a good mix. Like, he's going to have to lose weight in order to stay healthy in general, and it's not just the league, it's just in life. Then, you know, he's a big ass nigga. He's gonna have to slim down to become that elite player. But I don't want to speak too much about Zion and what he's going to do, because, you know, we always do this. Like, we said Jabari Parker was going to be the next. We said Andrew Wiggins was going to be the next LeBron.
Man.
Yeah, y'all want to know the biggest disrespect to Zion?
What?
Shannon Sharp said that Zion is nothing but a Ben Simmons that can jump. I felt like that was the ultimate disrespect.
That's not really a bad comparison, because Ben Simmons...
No, Zion can shoot threes. Ben can't.
Well, yeah, Ben can't shoot. But, I mean, the whole thing is, I hope he goes to an Eastern team because I'm so tired of the West. I'm sick and tired of the Western Conference.
Yeah, he got to go to an East team.
Like, the only two teams right now in the East that are actually doing or that have a chance to do something are the motherfucking Bucks and the Celtics.
No, not the Celtics.
I would say the Raptors.
Oh, yeah, I'll say Raptors.
Why in the Raptors?
Not over Celtics, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Celtics, they've been top contenders for the last 2 years. I'm talking about within like past times, because once the playoffs start, you're gonna see a difference. Like,
that's very true. That's very true.
You know what I have to say?
You're gonna see a difference because it's gonna be an all-out, and I feel like whoever comes out the West is really gonna win because it's gonna be an all-out brawl on the Western. You got Houston. You got. I won't even.
Warriors.
We know the Warriors. We know the Warriors, Gene. That's an automatic hit.
Let me just.
You got the answer right, Gene. You got the answer right.
The nigga, the Warriors can lose like the rest of the games to the playoffs and still be like number 8 seed.
But yo, Reed, y'all know my theory on the conference. Why the conference is so imbalanced?
Why?
My theory is, and this is even when LeBron was in the East. The Eastern Conference has more stars, solo stars. If you really think about it, East got more solo stars. I think West have more complete teams in regards to the starting five and the rest of their bench players. The niggas that's coming on the, at timeout when niggas is tired, niggas that's coming in, I feel like they are better in the West than they are in the East. And I feel like that's what's the deciding factor. I feel like West just have they shit together as far as complete team. I feel like the East have these a bunch of one and done stars out of college, and then they get to the league, and then they kind of starstruck and whatever the fuck is going on, and they don't really progress because they don't have a complete team around them. That's my take on it.
Yeah,
I would agree to that. Because look at the Nuggets. They're the second seed in the West, and like, who can you name in that squad besides Nikola Jokic?
Is my niggas Ty Lawson still on there?
Nah.
Where he at? That's my nigga right there.
Nobody knows, G.
Shout out to the 5'11" niggas. Hey, we out here.
Yo, that actually reminds me. What happened with UNC? What happened when UNC losing to Auburn, man?
Yo, let's not talk.
Auburn's point guard is just like that.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah, and I think that draws me to a bigger question. Should college basketball keep niggas in the program longer than 1 year?
Before we get to that, I want to talk about UNC versus Auburn.
Let's not talk about that. Let's go to my question.
Why not? I want to hear about this UNC loss. What happened?
UNC, they not only lost by Auburn, they got blown out by Auburn. Auburn wasn't even a team to beat UNC because UNC was chosen to beat the
Auburn
whole.
Is the truth. Auburn is the truth. Let's not.
Okay. They the truth, but UNC was chosen to win the whole NCAA title.
No, Duke was chosen.
Duke was okay, but then people were saying, "All right, UNC has a better, stronger team. They got more veterans. They're gonna it's gonna pan out in the NCAA tournament."
No.
So for them to lose,
I'm a UNC fan, and I was bored about watching them niggas.
They lost by how many points? 17 points.
Yo, let's not talk about that though.
17 points to the number 5 seed Auburn Tigers.
No, only reason Auburn is 5 seed is because they play in the SEC, which is a weaker conference to the ACC. But let's not get it fucked up. Auburn is the truth. They can shoot threes, they can play defense, and they have a veteran squad.
So they play in a weaker conference, yet they still beat UNC.
Yes, because UNC, I don't know. I can't make an excuse for UNC. They just trash on that game. I can't really make an excuse. But Auburn is the truth, though. I'm just speaking in terms of their ranking. That's why they're ranked so low. But they're actually, I feel like they did play more efficiently. Because even my dad is a UNC fan, and he was talking about Auburn before he put me on Auburn. I was like, nigga, why are you talking about Auburn? And then I seen that game in the SEC conference, and I was like, okay, all right. And mind you, their point guard didn't even go off that game. It was the other players. I'm like, okay, all right, that's the truth. But the point guard that he speak of is a junior, and that brings me to my question as to should they change the rules and keep players in college more to develop?
So yeah, the NBA has a rule where you gotta at least go to college for at least 1 year. I don't necessarily agree with that rule because if you 18 years old and they feel like they should draft you, so be it. If you're an athlete and you got to make some money and you want to go to work straight away, so be it. Go to the NBA draft, get on the NBA team straight out of high school, make a living for your family. Because if you can go to the Army after high school, you should be able to go to the NBA after high school.
Right? How you feel?
I feel like college players should get paid.
I agree. This is my take on it. I think that they should. I think they should go according. Well, basketball is slightly different because it's not as physical as football. But I would say this: I feel like they should stay longer. I feel like they should stay into the junior year. But I feel like they should get shoe deals. I feel like they should be able to get whatever deal they're offered while in college. I feel like if Nike want to offer them $100 million, go right ahead. If I feel like whatever side business they got going on, offer them. I don't think the colleges themselves, NCAA themselves should offer kids money because then other kids are like, well, we the supporting cast, we the one blocking for them, or we the one setting up screens for them, or whatever. I feel like they should stay amateur as far as NCAA goes. I feel like, but whatever sponsor wanna say, hey kid, hey fuck with us and offer them money. I feel like that's fair because then you will see who deserve it and who don't. That 7 guy on the bench is not going to get offered $100 million, but Zion Williams is. So I think that's how I should go.
So it should be sponsored in a way, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like how track and field is. It's not necessarily the league itself, the Diamond League itself. It's more so, even though they do pay them for winning certain meets, it's the sponsorships, the reason why they're able to put food on their table on a consistent basis.
Word. Okay.
So I think that's how it should go.
So it shouldn't be no payment like a work study payment. They get paid hourly type shit.
I think they should keep the same system they got going on because at the end of the day, if they want to say, oh, well, they getting free education for those who got scholarships, okay, cool. You want to keep it fair like that? Do it like that. Then they can kind of wipe their hands away. Oh, well, we're not paying. We're not doing anything. So when that 8 man on the bench be like, well, why is Zion getting paid more than me? I'm helping out the team too. They'd be like, well, nigga, I mean, shit, you ain't hot. That's why Nike ain't giving you shit, nigga. I feel like that's the way to go.
I feel what you're saying. It may cause some controversy and another problem, some problems in the locker room. But I mean, it's an idea.
I mean, but my thing is, it won't because it's not coming from the organization that they're playing with. It's coming from other organizations that's seeing the true talent. Even if I say in football, you're blocking for Reggie Bush, but Reggie Bush is making all the flashy runs and shit.
Right.
Well, okay, you're blocking for him. That's cool, but we all know that lineman ain't getting the the spotlight they deserve. So who is making that decision? That's Under Armour. That's Nike. They making a decision. NCAA ain't making that decision. They saying, niggas, y'all got it. We gonna just sit back and relax. Let y'all make us the money.
Okay. Now, how would you, Reek, how would you have the athletes compensated for their athletic ability?
Stipends. They deserve monthly stipends.
I actually agree to that, but go ahead.
Not even monthly stipends, but a stipend for the semester. You know, I'm not saying they deserve thousands of dollars, but you talk about all these colleges who build these big ass stadiums that make money off the backs of black athletes, like Oregon, Alabama. These are multi-million-dollar organizations. Like, they're sports organizations. Nigga, if you can pay a coach $1 million or $2 million a year as a coach, nigga, you think Nick Saban is not paid? You don't think Coach K is getting fans, putting these kids and getting these championships and bringing this type of revenue to these organizations? You can give a $1,500, $2,500 stipend to these athletes who, you know, they might not make it to the league, but shit, you know, I was watching Blackish, I think. Was it Blackish? Whatever show I was watching, you know, it basically broke it down how these multi-million-dollar basketball sport organizations took out $70,000 for full rides, and you know, with the amount of fans and boosters that come to these events and donors that are putting money into seeing these kids play and sponsor these kids, you mean to tell me you can't throw them a quick 5 G's a semester to help out their family? You know what I'm saying? I just think, and I'm not just saying basketball or football players. I'm talking all athletes in general, and that's why I kind of kept it in the low thousands, because I'm not saying that these kids need to be paid $1 million for their services, but if you bring in that type of revenue to the school, then or to the scene, yeah, then an education, yeah, that goes a long way. But shit, nigga, so does $1,500 a month that could be helping my family that's back in Oklahoma that is struggling to put groceries on their goddamn.
Now, Reed. Now, then, since you say that, you brought in other sports outside of football and basketball, but we all know that football and basketball is the reason why other sports within the college realm is able to exist, because the profits they're making off of those two sports. And you know, I can say that because I was on the track team, and that's my favorite sport. But even we was funded to a point because of our success in football and basketball. So then I will say this: if you're saying that other sports outside of those two sports those players should get paid as well, then how do we make that fair overall? Because I mean, at the end of the day, your Roy Williams, your Coach K, you know, the Tyler Perrys of the world, they're getting paid millions and they're getting paid millions because of the players that's playing for them. So then, how do we assess that?
Hey, did you say Tyler Perry?
Not.
Yeah, I heard that too. I was like, wait, is G talking?
Tyler Perry with Kentucky. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry.
Well, you gotta enunciate, G. It sounded like you said Tyler, like we was, nigga, I thought my DM was coming out or something.
My bad, bro. It's the country vibes. You feel me? My bad.
Nah. I feel like feel like per event, bro. Like, you know, whether you're a track.
Women's tennis ain't making nothing, nigga. Women's tennis ain't making shit.
Golf too. Golf is not making anything as well.
Ain't making a goddamn thing. What we saying about that, nigga? What we saying about that?
The bowling team is making $2 a game.
They ain't making a goddamn thing.
The bowling team, they not making no kind of revenue. They making no kind of revenue. I don't know what.
Nigga, they paying for this shit. Goddamn.
They pay for their own uniform.
Yeah, they buy their own uniforms. That's crazy.
Buy their own uniform, nigga. Nigga, I'm Stacy, nigga.
Nigga, did y'all start y'all own team, nigga?
Nigga.
Quidditch?
With the red class.
You self-sponsored up in this bitch.
Goddamn, they ain't even wearing the same shoes, bro. They got Reebok over here, Nike over there, Under Armour. Like, come on, how you assess those teams, bro? Come on.
The coach is volunteering over there.
It's volunteering.
But I mean, but that's the point, man. Like, that's my point back to it. Niggas say you got Reebok on one shoe, Adidas on the other shoe. God. But hold on, bro. Let me get back to the real, bro.
They struggling over there, man.
Niggas bought their own uniforms. They ain't even the school colors.
Ain't even the school. You got all shades of green on that shit. God,
but nah, for real. So the reason I say like a stipend, bro, is because the stipend, even though it is a lump sum, you know, per semester, it's not gonna kill the programs. And I feel it don't matter what. And I say that just for the NCAA in general. Like, yeah, it depends on school, but for the UNCs and the Oregons in the world and the Alabamas who are going to the fucking national championship every year. Damn, and I did want to say shout out to Alabama. I know y'all lost to Clemson this year, nigga. I cried, but
hey, shout out to Clemson.
But I feel like these programs that are making these multi-million dollars, because how I feel about like black athletes in general is that, you know, you just need to bring the real athletes back to the HBCUs and bring some revenue back to the people that really support you.
Very true.
Because it's sick that, you know, Zion Williamson would rather commit to Duke, but if he went to, you know, Central or Winston-Salem State or Shaw or shit, St. Aug, I mean, you could bring some type of noise to these HBCUs, some revenue to these programs. Like, that's the whole thing, is that we got so many commits to these big PWIs, public white institutions, and not enough HBCUs, and that's where I really have a problem. But, you know, it's been going on for so long, and people ask me to this day who my favorite college team is, and I always tell them North Carolina Central University. No matter what sport it is, they're going to be my favorite team, because that's my alma mater, and I'm going to rep them to the day I die, you feel me? So it's just like, that's the type of pride I wish some of these high schoolers would have, but they don't have that guidance, because as soon as the Kentucky paper crossed their sign-in list, then they already thinking about committing to Kentucky because of their program. But if we had the talent go back to the HBCUs, imagine, if we had a Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett on North Carolina Central University's team, bro, we would have went to the big dance. You know, we would have been playing Duke that Friday rather than playing something
North Dakota and lost.
Yeah.
Right. And I was hurt after that too. We had just beat NSU, bro, and I was just talking shit because you know I'm out here in Virginia now, so I was talking shit to some people that went to NSU, and you know, and it was like, all, but who y'all got in the bubble game? Shit, it's teams like Duke that don't even have a bubble game. they number one seeds in they conference, so they don't have to worry about who they got to play another team that be in the big dance. And that's what kills me, is that I wish we did have those athletes, you know, instead of going to their you know, Floridas, go to they FAMUs, or go to their Alcorn States, or their you know, I'm just saying, or their Bowie States. It's just in Maryland.
But that's what I'm saying though. I feel like, I mean, it's a budget. It's a budget thing. I mean, if you're getting offered all this shit, like look at Oregon locker room. If you take a look at Oregon locker room, you're not getting that at Central, bro. Like you're not. And then all the under the table shit, you're not getting. You're not going to get at Central. You're going to get all of the under the table shit. That's the reason why the fucking LSU coach is in trouble now, because he slid that they supposed to star player, one and done player, some shit under the table, you know, and probably other players too. But those are two that got caught. We don't have that, and that's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, you can't tell somebody from the hood who grew up in poverty their whole life that, hey, nigga, come over here. You're gonna get paid way less. You're gonna get less notoriety, and you're gonna get less talent around you. But play for us, and hopefully you can make us better. And we don't really give zero shits about you. That's a hard sell. And Kentucky and, you know, UNC, Duke can promise that to them. They can promise them stardom. They can promise them a 100% chance of making it to the NBA. Central can't. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. It would have to take an athlete to not think about himself or herself. Like it has to be a huge sacrifice for them to go to a, you know, HBCU school and be a star player for their school, and that's the only way it would happen. Like what you say, Reek. They have to have like people around them telling them, like, maybe you can do this, go that way, and be like, let's say Zion went to North Carolina Central, like that would have put Central, not only Central but black colleges in general, on the map.
You know who could fuck up you know one person in position that can fuck up the whole system?
Who?
AAU coaches. If an AAU coach get a bomb ass squad that could be the top in their high school class,
Very true.
You get 3 people that can be 1, 2, and 4 in their high school class, and tell them all to go to one school. That coach can fuck up a whole fucking system right there. And I think that's what it would take. Not a player, but a coach.
Honestly, a community, bro. Not just a coach.
I mean, yeah, but a coach specifically, because you're going to gravitate towards a team because of a coach, because of the prestige of the AAU team. Nobody just, I mean, that's how AAU teams are formed, because, that player's playing for that team. Oh, let me play for that team. That's the whole AAU system now.
Right.
So if you can accumulate a talent, a plethora of talent that can go 1, 2, 3, or however, in whatever order, and then tell them to go to a specific team, HBCU, boom. That's how you fuck up a whole system right there, and that's how you can get a Central to be of competition to a Duke or a UNC or whatever, because you will have that caliber of talent to do so.
Yeah, that's a well thought out plan. Another thing I want to get to. Unfortunately, Duke lost to Michigan State by 1 point. It was a close game.
A loss is a loss, nigga. Shut up.
I had them winning, but, you know, things happen for a reason. They're young. Michigan State was very experienced, and they came out with the dub. How do you guys feel about that game?
Ray, you want to go first?
I mean, that's Zion's college career right there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wraps it up in a little bunch.
Wraps it up in the season.
I would say that one, Michigan, I feel like they're, from looking at their stats from past games, they are lucky to beat Duke. I'm not going to say that they was just better coached or just more veterans. They won a turnover battle, which is why they won, because they was 2 for 6 at the line, which is 33%. They was trash at the free throws. They was trash at scoring. Period. The defense won't really all that. It's just turnovers, and it was really mostly careless errors, honestly. So I can't say that Michigan State is a dominant team. Izzo is a great coach, but I mean, let's not sit here and act like, okay, he's more dominant than Coach K. It was just a matter of them winning the turnover battle, and that's what won them by 1 point or however many, in that game. I don't say, okay, Zion's stock should go down or RJ Barrett's stock should go down. We already know those two was already, from the free throw line. And who you send to the free throw line? RJ Barrett. That's hack a Shaq. You basically, I mean, he's a little better than Shaq, but basically.
It leads me to the question: was Duke really that good? Because they're
really that. They're good. They're a talented team.
Right. Talented team, but they don't really have a bench. They don't really have shooters. And I'm looking at the whole tournament. They basically beat teams by a close margin. UCF was by 1 point. Virginia Tech, they beat by 2 points, and they lost to Michigan State. Were they really a dominant team for this tournament?
I'll say personally, for this era, no. But I feel like that's just it all falls back to AAU. I feel like all of these players have played together. All of these players are equally as talented. It's just more dispersed now. Now it's not just Duke and UNC and whoever else at the top of the food chain. Now you have a UCF who can compete with a Duke. You have these smaller schools who can compete with a top tier team. Then now you have, because these players have been playing since they were 4 years old now. You have players who are sons or sons of mothers who played in basketball, or sons of fathers who played basketball. You have a lot more. You have talented breeds of athletes, and I think that's what's really showcased now. And I think that's what's going to really help college basketball in the future. You don't need a Warriors of college basketball. You need teams to be more competitive in college basketball. So I don't think it downgrades what Duke has brought. I think it upgrades what the other teams has brought to the table. I think it just makes the product better.
Yeah, I was looking at some classic Anthony Davis highlights while he was at Kentucky, and I was like, golly, no wonder this man went number one. And for him now, I don't know whether he's going to go to the Lakers or find another squad to go to. I have no idea where he's trying to go to.
Hold on, bro. You have to go to a whole other topic. Tyreik ain't even weigh in.
I mean, he did weigh in. He said Zion. What'd you say?
He didn't answer the last question.
I was lost.
Yeah. So he said something. He said Zion. That's the end of his college career.
No, you asked about, do you feel like Duke was overhyped or some shit?
Oh, well, shit. I mean, I won't say overhyped. They played their season. That's all I can say about it. They played their season. They lost, and yeah, it's time move on for real, because we're gonna have to find another shooter for Duke or another hooper for Duke.
Yeah. Now you can ask your question, Kyle.
Damn, where was I going? Yeah, I was talking
about Davis going to the Lakers or some shit.
Yeah, I was talking about Anthony Davis. Even if you go to the Lakers, him and LeBron, I feel like they're gonna be a good duo, but it's still not enough. It's just still not enough. I don't know where he would go.
I just feel like LeBron should just go ahead and focus on his post NBA shit.
It's not over, bro. He's gonna get another chip.
Not with the Lakers.
Trust me, bro.
Not with the Lakers. Not with the Lakers.
Because the Lakers, they got a whole rebuilding process they got to go through for real. Like,
exactly. LeBron shouldn't be there for that. I think he got too overconfident. He thought, man, I've been to 8 straight finals. You know, I can just do whatever. I got magic.
Will he retire? Will he retire after this contract is up?
I think LeBron gonna stay in the league until he can play one season with his son.
Word, okay.
I feel like he'll stay as long as Tom Brady stay in the NFL.
Well, Tom Brady finna retire.
Tom Brady said he got 5 more years on his belt.
He got like 2 years.
I'm finna stop watching football. I'm fucking tired of the Patriots.
It's great. It's greatness, man.
What the fuck is you talking about?
Did y'all ever watch the AAF? The American Alliance football shit.
I seen a couple of highlights.
So there's one of the owners, one of the new coming owners, not even one of the founders, but one of the new coming owners. He apparently owner of the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't watch that shit, but yeah. So they suspended the league now because that nigga just backed out because they couldn't reach a contract with the NFL to get some of their younger talent. So that nigga was just like, man, I'm out. And now that league is no more as of today.
The league is no more?
Yeah, they suspended everything, they done canceled everything. So like Johnny Manziel said, whatever your last paycheck was, that's all you get, niggas. Well, he ain't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, it's done. It's finito. So all we got to look forward to is now the XFL and see what the fuck they got to bring again, and wait for that shit to plummet as well.
I feel bad for the athletes. They got to find another route now. Probably try out for a team, get on the practice squad, and probably find a job. I don't know.
Some of them niggas are stuck in whatever city they were shipped to.
You said somewhat?
Some of them niggas are stuck in whatever city they were shipped to. So if you from Florida and you went all the way to fucking Washington or some shit, some of them niggas ain't getting paid enough to get flew back to their home. So some of them have to stay there.
Damn.
Yeah. Shit crazy.
Yeah, they better call Mom Dukes and get a little plane ticket.
Yeah, cause you remember, y'all remember Ronja Bell? Ain't that what his name was?
Yeah, I remember. He was on the Suns, right?
Yeah, the fast nigga. Y'all remember that nigga?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was talking about how when he played for the CBA or whatever, and I think he was playing for Iowa or some shit, and once that league folded, he got stuck there. Luckily, his family had enough money to bring him back to where he was from, but some players got stuck in that city because they didn't have enough money. I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's very wild. I mean, that's all I got for today. Unless y'all want to talk about something else.
Nah, I mean, I'll wrap it up.
What do you say, G?
Y'all niggas ain't got the endurance for a podcast. What's going on? Y'all sleepy?
It's been a 2-hour podcast, G.
I've been talking to you through 2 shows, nigga.
Y'all niggas about to wake the fuck up. Nah, I'm done. That's all y'all got.
This ain't a podcast, nigga. This a movie. Ain't nobody.
Nigga, we shoot movies out here, nigga. What the fuck you mean?
Nah, but man, yo, shout out your information, Tyreek, and let the people know where you at, man.
Hey, man, I'm out here in Richmond, VA, man. You can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Ham with the Juice. That's HAMWITDA Juice. You feel me? You know, shout out my nigga Petty G, my nigga Smoove for having me out here on the podcast. I'm definitely gonna come back, chop the shit up with y'all, man. Hopefully the next time we have a podcast, you know, we can talk about some more positive things that are happening, you know. I'm gonna let y'all know where I am in a few and what I'm doing. So it was a pleasure being on y'all show. And, you know, hopefully next time I'm not a special guest, but, you know, I get included to this.
Hey, yo, Reek, I appreciate you being on the show, bro. And you forgot to shout out the NWDs, niggas with degrees. Come on.
I ain't forget them niggas, bro. Shout out to my nigga Brandon. Shout out my nigga John. Shout out my nigga Destin. Shout out my nigga, well, shit, that's all that was in the NWDs and y'all too, shit.
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you for coming out, tuning into the podcast and letting the people know your insight and everything like that. Make sure you guys, you know, follow the page on Instagram, and Facebook page is coming soon. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's the same name, the Crooklyn Third. I'm not going to spell that right now. I got the time. But, G, what you got for me, man?
Yo, just keep subscribing, keep liking the shit. Hey, shout out to everybody who has subscribed. Love y'all. Hopefully we keep growing. That's all I got for you.
Yep, and we're going to wrap this up. Smoove, Petty G, Tyreik, him with the juice. So thank you guys for listening, and yeah.